Alright, so I really don't want to talk about this, but I really need to get it off my chest. I've really just had my moment of shit. I can't even talk straight. I've really just had my moment of mortality the other day, and anybody who's done any amount of climbing or flying or driven long enough in some of these places, just or done any handful of other things, knows what I'm talking about. It's that moment where you just had that one close call, and you know that you did not walk away because of the amount of skill or practice or anything. It was luck. You survived because you're lucky. And I'm going to tell you the story of mine. There is dash cam footage of it. I'm not going to show it. Because A, it doesn't do the situation justice, and B, you just don't want to see it. So there's this interchange, there's this highway junction between California 150, I can't even remember the name of the fucking road. Would have been California 60. Yeah, between Interstate 210 and California 60. The off-ramp is this. It starts out flat, but it quickly starts sloping downwards. It turns into like a 3%, 4% grade. And I had 45,000 pounds in the box Clorox bleach. So my gross weight is 76,000. £600. And I have the cruise set for 61 miles an hour coming up to this point. I know the speed limit's 55, and I'm not the only person that does this. In fact, if I actually obeyed it, I would be the exception rather than the rule. My driver mentor told me to run California 57 miles an hour. I'm not the first person in my family to drive a truck, and my uncle, who is the person that was one of my biggest inspirations, he told me to run at 61. Of course, I trust family more than some random stranger that I spent 200 hours in a truck with. So I followed his advice, and it's worked out for so long that I kind of just got complacent. It's all my fault. I'm not blaming anyone else. I am the captain of this ship, and as such, everything that happens is on me. So I turn off the cruise control and I start backing it down to take this exit because I need to get on California 60. I'm headed toward the terminal. I drive for Swift Transportation. I'm headed for the terminal in Mariloma. And I have the Jake brake, second notch. This is 2016 Freightliner Cascadia. Jake brake only has 3 slots, excluding the off position. I have it in the second one. I have my foot on the service brake, and I noticed something. I'm not slowing down. I am continuing at 60 miles an hour and actually starting to get a little bit faster. Traffic ahead is stopped on this off-ramp. And I'm thinking to myself, this is it. This is the one where I fuck up irrevocably. But I'm not going to just resign myself to my fate. I'm going to fight it. I always have. So I kicked the Jake up that one last notch. It's full on. The truck downshifts 2 gears from 12th to 10th. And I start slowing down a little bit, but not enough, so I get harder. So I put my foot harder on the service brake. My application pressure goes up to 120 pounds. Gauge buries at about 200. Not even. It buries at about 150. Max is at 150. So that was a lie. And my speed starts slowly dropping. I get down to about the drive cam, the black box data next to the drive cam footage. Ended up saying my speed was about 54 miles an hour, but that's still not good enough because I'm coming up on the rearmost car in this I'm coming up on the rearmost four-wheeler in this line. And so I do the one thing that I have left available to me. Because if I were to try to steer it back onto the highway, I would not make it. I would have either hit the Jersey barrier, or I would have jackknifed truck, or something. It would have been a guaranteed wreck, and of course steering to the right would have put me into the line of vehicles in the lane to my right. So I thread the needle between the Jersey barrier and the four-wheelers. By sheer miracle alone, there is no impact. But between the Jersey barrier and where I end up, there's a curb and a sharp incline. So 3 inches to my left, truck would have been on its side. The company would have had to call out a rotator, which not just a wrecker, but a fucking rotator, which is a heavy wrecker with a rotating crane, 4 winches. They would have needed that to get the truck back on its feet, to tow it to the yard. But they wouldn't have had me around to fire. It would have been 2 officers on my family's doorstep. We regret to inform you situation. 2 inches to the right, or excuse me, it's Woodman. 3 inches to the right, at least 2 four-wheelers would have been disintegrated into a pile of parts that would have been not recognizable as a vehicle. Third one would have been slightly more recognizable but equally destroyed. And the fourth one would have been heavily damaged. The truck would have been heavily damaged, likely would have jackknifed and probably ended up rolling. The speed I was going, I can guarantee you that the cab would have been ripped off of the frame. And I wouldn't have been around to fire. Would have been 2 officers on my family's doorstep. We regret to inform you. I've climbed mountains, gotten stuck on them after dark, and made it back off. I've walked away from highway speed collisions that totaled vehicles that I was driving, where I was the only one involved. I don't know why I just said that last one in plural. It was only one situation. It was the first collision I was ever in. And yes, my recruiter knew about it and still chose to recruit me. I've been in so much shit and walked away. This was almost the last one. I don't know if you're familiar with a guy named Aaron Ralston. If you've ever read the book Between a Rock and a Hard Place or seen the movie 127 Hours, they're both based off this guy's story. He's climbed a lot of mountains. He's summited 14,000 footers and higher. I think he's done every single one of them solo during the summer and done almost every one solo during the winter. And his story that led to the led to the creation of that book and that movie. It's based off that book, which is all based on what. And actually, he wrote that book. His situation, the one where he finally didn't walk away from it unscathed, he ended up having to cut his own arm off after he got trapped in a canyon because a rock that had been perfectly happy to be lodged in a single spot for thousands of years chose that exact moment to come loose, and it landed on his arm. The only difference between these two situations is that he was unfortunate enough to lose his arm. I still managed to walk away. 3 inches to the right, I would have had blood on my hands. The drivers of those first 3 four-wheelers would have, the first 2 four-wheelers definitely would have been killed. The third one likely would have been killed. If they were lucky, they would have been left in critical condition. And then the fourth four-wheeler would have been left in critical condition. I don't know if there would have been kids in any of those cars, but I would have had their blood on my hands too. This is a dangerous business out here. So, you screw up out here. We screw up too badly. We pay the price. Everyone around us pays the price tenfold. And our company loses a $100,000 vehicle plus whatever freight is in the back. Don't go into this business lightly. It's not easy work. You are going to be underpaid for what you do. You are going to be overworked. You're going to be working hours that all the drivers of those little four-wheelers who think they own these roads out here, they would consider overtime and expect 30 hours a week of time and a half for. You are the biggest fish on this road, yes. But it comes with a heavy price. If you fuck up, that's it. Either for you or for someone around you. If somebody else fucks up and you're involved, it's still your fault. DOT only sees two causes of a collision: driver error and equipment failure. Driver error is self-explanatory, and equipment failure is still the driver's fault because it should have been caught during pre-trip. Obviously, I made it to the Maryland terminal because I'm making this video right now. But 3 inches and 2 officers would have been at my family's doorstep. Mrs. Thunder, we regret to inform you, your son won't be coming home. To all the drivers of the 4-wheelers that didn't find this video, part of what led to this situation is I got complacent with the way that you drive around me, the way that you drive around all these trucks, the way that you merge 50 feet in front of me with your kids in the back seat. If I have to hit my brakes, I travel at least 150 feet before a brake lag is done, because we don't have hydraulic brakes like you do. We have air brakes. There is a half a second delay between when we hit that service brake pedal and when the and when the air travels through the lines and starts applying the pads. Every one of us will come to that moment of realization, even before the moment of mortality, where we realize that our worst nightmare is having your kid's blood on our hands because you got in front of us and brake checked us. Because you decided to speed match us in the shadow of our box, and we couldn't avoid another collision because we couldn't steer that direction. Our most reliable way to get out of a situation is to steer. That's the only thing on this truck that works instantaneously. The throttle lags. The brakes lag. Hitting the engine brake, it lags. Almost no matter what we do, we are helpless for a half a second. And that sounds like so little time, but it lasts so goddamn long. So everyone, please, whether you drive a big truck like me, like the one I'm filming in right now, or if you drive a little 4-wheeler, be it a minivan or a or a little station wagon or a coupe. If you're a ricer or a real car guy or gal, or you're just a student, a mom, a dad, a brother or a sister, somebody who works in an office, somebody who works security, I don't care what you do, what you drive safely out there, because we're all only a half a second away from tragedy and having 2 officers show up at our family's doorstep. Mrs. Family Member, Mr. Family Member, we regret to inform you that your son or daughter is not coming home. And the sad part is that half a second is preventable 10 times out of 10. by just slowing down, observing other people's turn signals, not being complete jackasses, not jumping in front of people. And I'm not saying this from some sort of high and mighty position. I'm saying this as one of you that has made these mistakes. Yes, I'm one of the biggest fish out on this pond. Because I weigh upwards of 80,000 pounds. But I don't own this road. Nobody owns this road. We all share it. Hell, and actually, there's somebody I left out of that fucking list earlier. Whether if you drive a motorcycle, you got 2 wheels. If you're a bicyclist, you got 2 wheels. If you're a pedestrian, you only got your 2 feet. Be safe. Be seen. Be predictable. Share the fucking road. Have a little common decency. Just don't be stupid. Because we only got this one life. And we're eternally one moment away from losing it. Drive safe out there.